Well, we do have a major drop within the cryptocurrency market. We've got Bitcoin down 9%, SpaceX coming out and selling around $380 million worth of their Bitcoin. I'm going to be talking about what's happening right now, guys, when it comes to the world of politics, what's going on. Are we possibly facing a recession? Nobody can afford houses. The first thing I want to talk about, though, and it's just annoying, you go to something like Bitcoin or cryptocurrency or Coinbase on Twitter, if you look it up, you immediately get hit with just all of these bots. So this is one, for example. 5 minutes ago, this account has 6,000 retweets, 6,000 likes, and 0 replies. It's so real. But just the manipulation on Twitter right now, or excuse me, I guess X. It's tough to call it X, but I've been doing a better job at calling it X. But what's going on with it's just so annoying. I saw something about possibly having to verify your ID or something to be able to use the platform. Oh yeah, here it is right here. ID verification, what you will need, prepare a government-issued ID. So people were immediately triggered by this. I do think it's very interesting. This is definitely a slippery slope, but with Twitter, the dam is already broken. There's no way, there's no saving Twitter. The bots are just completely out of control. There's too many of them. It is a complete infestation, but that could be the future. Whatever Web3 is, you might need some type of verification. The idea is, how do you make a social media site with an elimination of bots where it's one account per person? I know people like to use multiple accounts. It gets really confusing, but if you're going to eliminate bots, it's very hard to. I mean, maybe you could create some type of crazy, intricate thing to where a bot cannot complete it, some type of task that only humans can complete. That's the whole idea of Twitter changing their sign-up thing with all the CAPTCHAs and making it really hard. You have to do like 3 different things and like identify different puzzle pieces. Those things are always very annoying. We know that, but maybe they end up doing something like that. Mortgage rates could hit 8%, economists say, citing a worrying sign not seen since the Great Recession. And so when it comes to recession talks, when it comes to the economy, when does the housing market crash, it's very important we understand the 2024 election. What is it, 14 months away, sometime around there. So Democrats are going to want to stall the economy collapse as long as possible for the 2024 election. We already see what they're doing with Trump. I think the strategy with Trump, and we saw a few days ago the 4th indictment come out. It's just it seems like it's raw force with the Democrats against Trump. It's indictment, indictment, indictment. It's 600 years in prison. It's indictment, indictment. It's 10,000 years in prison. It's indictment. And the whole thing obviously is completely politically motivated, but when you talk about independent people really not following, it's just the raw force. And it's not just MSNBC and CNN. I mean, you'll look on like mainstream, like ultra mainstream, typical news, Channel 19, Channel 5, they're talking about Trump. He's a criminal. He's terrible. And when you drill that into people's heads, it seems very clear, at least right now, the Democrats seem like the idea is, yes, they admit Biden's horrible. I mean, how can you not argue that? He's got a terrible approval rating. We're 3 years into it. It's not even over 40%. It's historically low. But people are going to get scared just like, back in 2020. And it's more of a, we don't want Trump. And we're afraid if Trump gets in, what ends up happening. But it seems like it's just sheer force right now, and they're throwing everything they can. I'm sure Trump is going to be the nominee. He's not going to prison. All of this is done to tarnish his image and give them more ammunition to go after Trump in a potential general election. You also do have maybe this being an opening for DeSantis, Ramaswamy. Those seem to be the only 2 options. I really do like Ramaswamy a lot. Obviously, he's very young. You can see Elon Musk coming out. He's very promising. I mean, Ramaswamy is certainly interesting. He's extremely smart. Him against Biden in a debate. I mean, I'd pay up, that would be hilarious. It would be weird. Would they actually go with Biden if Ramaswamy somehow wins the Republican nomination? The only way I see that happening is if Trump somehow gets disqualified. I don't know how that would happen, but through a legal process gets disqualified, and then all the MAGA people would immediately go to Ramaswamy, and it's obvious why they do that. He's the only other outsider in the race, and it would be like one giant cluster, and it would probably come down to Ramaswamy and DeSantis, but I'm sure Trump, it's basically confirmed he's not debating. It's probably going to be Ramaswamy and DeSantis making headlines for better or for worse on the debate stage, and we'll have to see who performs better in that. This is remarkable. So here you have, it's funny with this China thing is just so mind-boggling. ESPN and all the major networks, they will not recognize Taiwan. This is even like the Little League, the kiddie thing, Little League World Series. Look at that. Look at on the scoreboard. They will not recognize Taiwan. And then, of course, yes, this is modern art. This is just great. This is apparently this sold for $2 million. I'm kidding. But no, there's a bunch of people watching it. That's modern art in 2023. But back to the possible crash here. It's just the housing market is in such a terrible place. No young person coming out of, forget coming out of college, no young person aged 28, 29, 30 can afford a decent house. Technically, I guess depending on where you live, you lower your quality of life, you live somewhere else, maybe you get a smaller house, you can afford something, but everything is just ultra inflated, and the only really question is it a crash or is it a slow drip, basically, to where we bleed but we don't crash down? That would be my question, and I know they're saying based on the summer of last year was really the main, worry point, they were saying, to where we could have seen some type of crash within the stock market because the housing was just ridiculous, but now they're saying, but no, we've been able to stem the tide, and we will see kind of a bleed out in terms of the housing market. You're talking about 3-bedroom, 3-bath, $500,000, no land. It's just, who's buying? It's just such a terrible deal. And then we also do have, you can see the inflation. And this is really crazy because I always base stuff nowadays off of the Twitter internet age, especially when it comes to like U.S. elections, but also something like this. So you can take a look at the inflation. It ballooned to basically its highest point since the internet's, I guess in the 90s, but really since we've all been connected, back to early 2000s, I guess it was around 5%. But other than that, you can see we had a period of deflation. That's what China is experiencing right now. We need some deflation. No, deflation is terrible. It's actually worse than inflation, but I guess it depends on your perspective, how much you have invested. For me, it wouldn't be that bad. I'd like things to go lower, but either way, you can see we have brought the inflation down, although the last tick I saw, it went slightly up. It went from like 3.2% to 3.3%, but that is healthy as they continue to lower the inflation. I'm guessing it'll hover around 2%. If you look at the Trump administration, they had the inflation way down, and I understand that some of this is a lag effect of the pandemic and everything that happened there, but it's also an issue to where if you actually look into it, and people are not going to like this, these stimulus checks actually they were part of the culprit of inflation. The thing is, when you pay people to stay at home, it's a big issue when it comes to the economy. But I did just want to talk about a potential recession, and I don't foresee one coming. We've seen a big Bitcoin drop here, but with the 2024 election upcoming, they're going to give it some type of fake steroid, the economy that is, to keep it propped up before that, because obviously you don't want that to happen, some type of housing crash during an election year. And then we do have an update here with Vivek Ramaswamy right now sitting in third place ahead of DeSantis. This is the betting average U.S. president. You can see Biden in the recent times with a slight uptick, and then Trump with a downtick. So when it comes to the indictments are not going to hurt Trump, when it comes to the Republican primaries. Or at least I don't think they will. Actually, it depends what state, but overall, I think Trump should be fine in that. The issue for Trump is a lot of the independent people are not going to like these indictments, and those are the people you need to win. especially in states like Arizona, Pennsylvania, Michigan. And Democrats know that, so it's indictment after indictment after indictment after indictment. Keep doing it, keep doing it, keep doing it, keep doing it. And listen, I'll be the first one to admit, is Trump a sore loser? Absolutely. But that doesn't give you the right here in America to prosecute him just because you don't like him. And we all know if Trump was not running for president, if he wasn't, the odds-on favorite to be the Republican candidate, none of this would be happening. This is all a complete charade. Trump is not going to jail. They want ammunition. They want these indictments. They want, oh my God, Trump faces 10,000 years in jail. What a horrible... what even was it, like 700 years or something? It's, at this point, that's an insult to Americans' intelligence. It really is. When you look at those charges and what other people, racketeering charges, they bump them up to felonies when really we've seen other people get those same things. They get like a $50 fine. It's all just complete crap. And then you have these judges who just completely want to make a name for themselves. And something that I thought was funny, they were like, oh, this is a Democratic judge, but she actually cares about crime. Oh my goodness, what a coincidence. We finally found a Democratic judge who actually will crack down on crime and won't deem it racist. But it just turns out she's the one presiding over Donald Trump's case. The one Democrat. Oh no, I take that back. Alvin Bragg. Well, actually, no. Alvin Bragg is very soft on crime outside of Donald Trump. It's funny how that works. But either way, guys, that is just the current situation. That's going to do it for this video. Make sure you follow me on X. Link to that's always in the description.